This is a special event. It is the Heisman Trophy of defense. It is the award that gives back to a side of the ball that doesn't get as much glory. Thank you, Charlotte.
What a high level of excellence Bronco Nagurski brought to the game. He is an inspiration to anyone who loves the game of football.
My football story is not about playing for the Carolina Panthers. My football story is from the time I was 5 years old. All I ever wanted to do was play for Wayne Hills High School in northern New Jersey.
I was a part of something, and the purpose of what we were working for was greater than any one of us.
We come out every day to compete, and the only way we can get better is compete against each other hard.
It's important to note that sometimes the signs that we ask for are right there in front of us. Win or lose, there was always a message in there. It's about what we do with the adversity we face.
You can have a dream, but you better be prepared for that opportunity.
I want to thank you all once again for the millions of dollars that you have contributed. And I know while the focus of the Charlotte Touchdown Club might be football, the money that you provide enables multiple sports to benefit.
It's a lot of hard work. I mean, it's nothing is given. I mean, you have to earn everything.
Honored to be here today. You do such wonderful work. The funds you raise for scholarships around the area, that's wonderful.
A very heartfelt thank you to members of the Touchdown Club for your support of 16,000 plus students who you all are impacting annually. Studies show that GPAs and graduation rates are higher, absences and dropout rates are lower.
What I've learned in my life is you can accomplish anything in this world. If you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way.
But it's important that everybody in this room and beyond understands that it starts with us. You see these kids on the come up, you gotta let them know.
Football was a gladiator sport. Only gladiators played football.
Tonight, you're going to get a glimpse of excellence of our finalists and what they have brought to this game. Their dedication, passion, and brute strength, along with their ability to make key plays during crucial moments in big games.
I believe that football is the greatest game that there is. It's the only game where people of all sizes, of all shapes, of all different talent levels can come together. And everyone have to execute their job. And I believe young people should play it. I believe it builds character. It teaches us how to sacrifice and be humble.
Life is all about when you get punched in the gut, finding a way to get up and dust yourself off and get back in the ring and just keep swinging, son. Just keep swinging.
Be here, be back in North Carolina, see all you Wolfpackers and all you others. Again, what you do with this organization, with John and so many that contribute, it really is awesome. Because as we all know, sports, it may be more important now than it's ever been. With these high schools and what it's doing to help facilitate and bring joy and some discipline and virtue, it's awesome.
And I think football is a lens and a window to our world, to our society when it comes to team. When you talk about together, everybody achieves more. There's nothing on that football field that's of accomplishment without the work of 10 other men.
I actually came in a couple years and worked at Rock Hill.
Learn a different discipline with each sport that you play, or different disciplines. You also get a chance to be around different kids with each sport, so you become more of a social chameleon.
Believe in you, believe in who you are and what you are, and it's a lot easier to make those decisions. And don't be afraid of the adversity. You know, sometimes the adversity is exactly what you need in order to succeed.
Football Writers Association of America and the Charlotte Touchdown Club are proud to present the 2020 Bronco Nagurski Trophy to Zaven Collins from the University of Tulsa.
Thank you to the Football Writers Association for presenting me this trophy and selecting me to be the Nagurski winner. Thank you to the Charlotte Touchdown Club for entrusting with me and putting my name on the trophy. It really means a lot to me.
Growing up around the game, I have a deep and abiding respect for those who have paved the way. Bronco Nagurski was a true pioneer of our game.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you guys doing? You ready for a fun day? All right, awesome, glad to hear it. My name is Justin Kutcher. It's great to be back here, hosting again, being the MC. We've got a great day in store for you. For those of you who don't know me,
I'm a broadcaster, been lucky enough to call basically every sport you can possibly imagine, primarily focusing now on golf and football and some basketball. But today, having the chance to speak with Patrick Willis, Hall of Famer Patrick Willis, it's going to be so much fun for all of us. Before we get started today, we were lucky enough a couple years ago to have the hit king, Pete Rose, here. And unfortunately, Pete Rose passed away back on September 30th. So if you guys wouldn't mind just having a moment of silence right now for the great Pete Rose. Thank you. He was a lot of fun. I think any of you who were here that day enjoyed the experience and just walked away feeling very grateful that you had the opportunity to hear from him. We want to thank our luncheon sponsor, Pinnacle Financial Partners, not just for today, but for this year's entire luncheon series. Pinnacle Financial Partners, thank you so much. Also to our media partner, Radio 1 Charlotte, News Talk 1110, WBT, and WFNZ. You guys love your coverage, love what you do, and appreciate you covering this event, this series, each and every time we have it. I always know when I say this, things are better short and sweet. You want to eat, you want to get to the Q&A. So without further ado, let's bring up the Vice President of the Charlotte Touchdown Club, Roddy Broadnax.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. And again, we're excited to have you here today to honor Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. It's going to be a great day and a great event today. Look forward to hearing him speak. Also, again, Rob Ellenberg and Pinnacle, thank you for all you guys do. You're a great partner, and we can't thank you enough for sponsoring our Speaker Series Luncheons. And you, the 75 sponsors that we have as part of the Charlotte Touchdown Club, we couldn't do it without you. So many of you were at our golf tournament a couple of weeks ago. We got a chance to talk a little bit about what we do as a club. And we're approaching $4 million that we've given out in scholarships, awards, and donations to area high school schools, athletic programs in the Carolinas. So again, sponsors, thank you for all you do each and every day for us. With that being said too, if you're new to the club or this is your first visit, the Bronco Nagurski Award is our highlight, and that's going to be on December the 9th this year. Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkwitz is going to be our keynote speaker. It's going to be a great night to crown the college football defensive player of the year, and then also being our 30th anniversary. And for one who's been at 28 of the 30, it's been quite a ride. So I hope you'll join us this year for the Bronco Nagurski Awards, December 9th. And with that, we're going to have a couple different things. The Hertwig Family Foundation will be sponsoring the Bronco Nagurski Legends Award that night, and the class of 1982 West Virginia linebacker Darryl Talley will be our recipient. Also, the Defender of the Nation Award will be announced October 24th. Rick Hughes and the Capital Group of Companies is sponsor for that. So Rick, thank you for all you do. And back once again to the Nagurski Award, Coca-Cola Consolidated. Again, the guys here in red, thank you guys for all you guys do for us in the club. And again, look forward to seeing you soon. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Roddy. Also, by the way, Patrick, I don't know if you realize this, but I've got some like blue on, some light blue. This is all for you. Everyone's thinking, oh, it's Carolina blue, but last year I was lucky enough to do an Ole Miss game, and you guys have some sick light blue uniforms, and I'm like, you know what? This is for you. And I see some Ole Miss people here, so this is all for you guys, all right? This was planned. This wasn't just like by happenstance. Right now, if I can welcome up the life coach and campus director for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Wingate University, Miss Shannon Powell. Mr. Shannon Powell.
No worries. I've gotten that quite a lot in my time. Let me ask if we could go to the Lord in prayer. Would you join me? Dear God, we take just a moment today to express our gratitude. The scriptures tell us that your mercy is new every day, and certainly every day we need your mercy. We've seen the damage firsthand that storms can cause in our lives, Lord. We know the destruction, the aching, the devastation that they cause. And if we're being honest, at times it even seems impossible that anything beautiful or good can come from such sorrow. We know within our hearts that this is the end of the story, that you have something far greater to come. Lord, we ask especially for your mercy on our friends and loved ones in Western North Carolina who may have lost much or lost everything in the aftermath of the recent hurricanes. We pray especially for those communities grieving the death of family members. Please bring comfort to their hearts. Lord, please bless our protectors of peace. Shield those who fight to not only rebuild our communities, but for those who willfully fight for our freedoms and cause the light of our liberty to shine brightly around this world. We pray also for the families of our fallen heroes and petition you for their comfort. Lord, let us not take for granted this warm meal that we have, but we ask that you would please bless not only the food, but also the hands that prepared it. Lord, thank you for the ones that are serving us today. Lord, we thank you for each of our sponsors that support this great cause and for all in attendance today. And for our Hall of Fame speaker, Mr. Patrick Willis, would you bless his speech and season it with grace? And Father, finally, I make this simple request on behalf of every man, woman, and child present today. Please teach us to trust so that, as your word says in Psalm 33:4, for the word of the Lord holds true, and we can trust everything he does. I ask these things in the name of the only one who lived and died to make us truly free, in Christ Jesus alone. Amen.
Thank you, Shannon. And as the son of Leslie Kutcher, I should know this by now. I apologize for that. I can't tell you how many times someone calls, says, "Can I speak to Mrs. Leslie Kutcher?" And I'm like, "I think you don't know my dad." So, Shannon, I apologize. Great job with that. It's time for lunch. We're going to finish up lunch. All right, enjoy this meal. And then we've got a lot more in store for you. We've got a raffle. Don't forget about the silent auction that we have as you guys came in before. And of course, we will then have our little sit-down interview, Q&A, with Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. How's that lunch treating you guys? All right? See, some of you get to eat, some of us get to speak, so I actually already had my dessert, sneak peek. It's delicious. If there's an extra one at your table, highly recommend eating that one too. You might have to fight somebody for it because that was quite good. I have no idea what it was, but it was really, really good. We'd like to recognize the more than 75 Touchdown Club sponsor team members here, and they'll be rolling in on the screen. We really couldn't do this without all of you, so truly appreciate what you do making this happen. And please, keep on eating, enjoy your food. We've got some more stuff going on. Don't forget, the silent auction is going to continue until 10 minutes after the conclusion of our event. And we'd like to thank both Crown Sports Sales and Rydell for their participation in making all of those items that we're auctioning off come to fruition. And there's some pretty cool items out there. All right, you're eating. It's time for our first game show. It's not The Price is Right, but it's kind of like The Price is Right. It's raffle time. So if I can have Catherine Stewart please come up to assist me with this right now, which also means that all of you who bought raffle tickets, make sure you get those out of your pocket. And I feel like I've got Catherine Stewart scrambling right now, making her way, trying not to embarrass her, as she's coming around the edge, going to make the turn and come over this way. How about a round of applause for Catherine Stewart? All right, Catherine, if you can, do the honor of putting your hand in that bowl, mixing it around, and drawing a ticket. Okay. So this ticket is going to win a helmet signed by Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. The numbers 443 4805. We have a winner right here. Yes, come on down. All right. And she's got a Patrick Willis jersey on. This is fantastic. All right, let's scramble them up and pick out the second one. All right, this is for a football signed by Patrick Willis. First three numbers are 443, 4825. We got one over here. That's a signed football by the Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. I'm sorry, he's wearing a Buffalo Bills shirt. We'll have to redo this and take that back. All right, Catherine, you ready for number 3? All right, let's mix them up. This will be for a mini helmet signed by the Hall of Famer. (443) 4998. All right, we got somebody celebrating back there. Yes. If you want to make your way down, come on down. You just won a mini helmet signed. By the way, I'm still thinking about the first raffle winner. Is this not one of the best days of her life? She's here to see Patrick Willis. She's wearing a Patrick Willis jersey. She wins the autographed helmet signed by him. That's unbelievable. All right, let's go for number 4. All right, the winner of this gets a Bronco Nagurski commemorative football autographed by Xavier Watts and the finalists from this past year. 443 4942. I hear some celebration. 443 4942. Yeah, we got one over here. That may have been the best raffle we've ever had in my time here emceeing. That was fantastic. Quick responses, quick answers. Heck of a job by Catherine. Thank you for the help. Again, let's not forget the silent auction closes 10 minutes after the luncheon. Proceeds do benefit the Charlotte Touchdown Club Scholarship Fund. We heard before by Roddy that $4 million has been raised. That's pretty remarkable. So let's keep it up. We have another giveaway. It's time for the table centerpiece giveaway. If you look inside the cover of your program, next to the Elia Drinkwitz image, it will say you are the winner. You get to take home that centerpiece, which is the football. Hopefully one person at every table goes home happy. The rest of you, really sorry. This is actually a ton of fun looking around to see who gets it. You got to look on that first page. It says you are the winner. You got it. You got it. Folks, we have a lot of special guests here in attendance, which makes this day and makes these events even more special. We have high school and middle school coaches, athletic directors, and administrators. We've got some NFL alumni here, including a guy who played at Ole Miss, not Patrick Willis, but Wesley Walls. He's even got his Ole Miss vest on. And of course, current and former U.S. military heroes and our first responders from police and fire departments in attendance today. Your true bravery is always on display, but even more so with what's going on in Western North Carolina. If those folks can please stand, you deserve a huge round of applause. Please stand. Thank you to all of you for what you do here, what you do in Western North Carolina, what you do abroad. Truly, thank you for all of that. The Touchdown Club and Coca-Cola are proud to partner with Brookstone Schools, whose mission is to glorify God by equipping under-resourced students spiritually, socially, and academically for future lives of leadership and service. Each year, they are helping to close the opportunity gap for students just like Santiago, who you'll meet in this next video. Santiago's story is that of many bright young boys and girls who have potential for great things. Together, we can help them realize their potential when we make high-quality education accessible. We're proud to share that Santiago is now attending NC State. Go Wolfpack. Let's see the video.
My name is Santiago Castañeda. I went to Brookstone my second grade year all the way to my 8th grade year. And those years were the most encouraging years of my life. Whenever I look back at the years in Brookstone, I was really encouraged to grow. You know, my teachers, my friends all around me, people all around me, you know, my middle school teachers especially. Those years were really growth encouraging for me.
Santiago impressed me from the very beginning. He was very outgoing. He was a joyful child at that age and very inquisitive, very interested in what I was doing, and just a great conversationalist. We just hit it off and it was really easy.
Cuando llegamos aquí, mi preocupación fue la escuela, la educación. Y fue difícil ajustarse. No sabía inglés, pues no sabía inglés. Y fue difícil. Entonces una hermana de la iglesia nos dijo de Brookstone, cuando él tenía unos 7 años. Y cuando llegué a Brookstone, llegamos, nos recibieron con los brazos abiertos. Y los profesores siempre fueron ese apoyo, ese oído amigo, esa red para mis hijos y para nosotros como padres.
Santiago's accomplishments, one, he skipped a grade. He was a straight A student here. He's done phenomenally well at Cannon, which is a private school. And on the football team, he's been starting for 2 years. He had the highest GPA of anybody on the football team, and I think it was literally like a 397 on a 4 scale. So he's a very, very intelligent child. Santiago to me is almost like a nephew. He's just a joy to be around. He's always up. He's a great brother. He loves his mother dearly. He's just a success in every sense of the word, and I am really proud of him. It's one of the most fulfilling things in my life. This place, I don't want to overplay it, but we're saving people's lives here. And it's not just the child, it's the whole family. And you're getting this great spiritual foundation, this great educational foundation. You're learning things for how to operate, in society in general, that you just don't get all that, unfortunately, too often in a traditional public school these days. You touch a child's life in a little bit, you help them move along, you have a few laughs with them, and you just leave here feeling like your purpose in life just bumped up a notch.
That's really cool stuff. And it is true that they're changing lives, not just of those kids, but of the families. And just kudos to Brookstone Schools for doing that. There's a reason why pretty much all of you are here today. And it's maybe to be in the presence of greatness, maybe to say that you were at an event where an NFL Hall of Famer was. But Patrick Willis, when you look at what he has done in his life, in his career, it's pretty incredible. He was a 3-star football player coming out of high school. Turns himself into an All-American. Ends up winning the Butkus Award, the Jack Lambert Award while out Ole Miss. People thought, maybe he'll be like a 2nd, 3rd round pick. The Niners, they thought differently. At the 11th pick, they said, we're taking that dude, Patrick Willis. What's he do? Rookie year. Pro Bowler. Went to the Pro Bowl his first 7 years in the NFL. 5-time All-Pro. Oh, he was also Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2007, the year that Adrian Peterson was Offensive Rookie of the Year. He also led the team and led the league in tackles that year with 174. Just a casual rookie year. I think the Niners may have known something when they drafted him. They knew that all of a sudden, when his career would come to an end, he was going to have a different color jacket. And all of a sudden, he gets named a Hall of Famer for the class of 2024. So without further ado, I'd like to bring Hall of Famer Patrick Willis up to the stage so we can sit down and talk about his life and his career. Hall of Famer Patrick Willis.
I think Pat's been at the top of his game, 7 or 8 years he's been in.
You watch him year after year after year. He's only getting better year after year after year.
He plays hard, he's emotional.
How bad do we want it? How bad do we want it?
He'll put it all on the line.
Come on!
He's just that guy that you want on your team, that everybody wants on their team.
It's the ferocity of the hit which defines Patrick Willis.
This guy's making plays that he shouldn't even be making.
Ruling on the field is that you just got blown up.
He out there just scrapping up everything. He'll do the dirty work. He's just a nose buster.
He takes the game over. He makes a game-changing play.
Bowler 3-step drop is hit by Willis. Sacked back at the 5.
In the pattern. And in the scorebook with a catch and a fumble recovered by the Niners.
2nd and 10. Good protection. And it's intercepted.
He's all over the place. He's everywhere. This guy's making plays that he shouldn't even be making.
Rodgers going to turn, play fake, dropping, pressure coming. Big time, and Rodgers throws the ball away. Rodgers being pressured on a blitz by Willis again.
No matter what play it is, the ball all the way on the other side of the field, you'll see that 52 jersey around the ball.
He's dominant, can make tackles all over the place. He's a tackling machine.
He can lay the wood, man. He can really strike.
That guy's strong. Just like brute strong. Like I'm not gonna mess around with this guy.
Patrick Willis taking his game to the next level. 52 is the spark, and he did it right there.
Let's go! Come on! Manning under center, turns play fakes, drops in the pocket, pressure by Willis.
And it's intercepted. Tall delivers over the middle. Oh, and what a hit. Incomplete. Ricky Williams got leveled by Patrick Willis.
It's the ferocity of the hit which defines Patrick Willis.
Going up against him, you're going to have to bring your A game. He can embarrass you if you get a chance.
If you don't get somebody out on him quick, he's going to make plays and he's going to make tackles all day.
Play action, looking up the field, spins away from the rush, spins away from the second, dumps it off short, caught by Ricky Williams, and he's in the grasp of Patrick Willis, which means over, play over. Let's go!
He could really run, really track some guys down, and I think that is what sets some of these guys apart, like Ray early on in his career.
Shotgun to Manning, takes the snap, standing in, gonna be pressure from the right, breaks away, no he doesn't, he's sacked. Back to the 15-yard line, a loss of 10. Golden Tate motioning on the left. Wilson with a deep drop to throw. Now sets up a screen in the left flat, and it's intercepted by Willis. Jackson gets a handoff, and Patrick Willis stones him. A loss on the play. Willis hit him so hard that Willis's helmet landed 15 yards away. 49ers going to rush 5 as Newton stands in the pocket, throws one out to the right flat, tipped, intercepted. Patrick Willis.
I could break a tackle with one guy easy. They threw a screen pass. Nobody's around. I'm about to take off. Next thing I know, somebody grabs my hip. I'm like, who is this? And I look, and it's him. He had some type of vice grip on me. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and take my loss and get ready for the next play.
I always love asking, what's it like seeing highlights of yourself?
Man, it's pretty awesome. It's not a dull moment, watching it, and that's what I wanted to leave behind. I wanted people to be able to turn on the film, whether it be just watching a whole game or just seeing highlights, and just say, "Wow, I want to see more."
Well, we could see more. We'd like to see more. I was actually told before that the Panthers might need some help, and you seem to have kept yourself in some pretty good shape. Just throwing it out there, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. You are a Hall of Famer. Just come out of retirement. I don't know.
Only if Luke will come out with me.
I would sign up for that right now, okay? If you and Luke together, I think everybody would watch. First of all, Patrick, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to all of us. It's really special to have you here. We're going to have some fun, okay? Just looking back at those highlights, for me, as a broadcaster and as a fan, I always marveled, right now, I'm not sure if you're wearing pads or not wearing pads. When you were in high school, did you look like this? Were you always strong? When did this start?
Believe it or not, in middle school, I was going through a self-complex problem, meaning I was I was chubby growing up, got made fun of through grade school. And when I got in middle school, I just remember trying to find that identity. And so I just started doing push-ups and set-ups. And before you know it, I started to see some little muscles come in. And I remember saying to myself, wait, I can do something about this. I don't have to just, it's not just praying and hoping, but it's praying, but also working toward those things that you want to become. And so I wanted to, get a physique like my cousins them, like my uncles them. And so, I just started doing push-ups and set-ups.
Okay, so there's hope for all of us. And you went through the Herschel Walker routine.
Absolutely, still do it to this day.
You still do it? All right, yeah. On a daily basis, how many push-ups, sit-ups are you doing?
Well, it depends. If I get to the gym, if I try to get to the gym in the morning times, but on days I don't get to the gym, as soon as I wake up, I'll do like 25 push-ups. During the middle of the day, depending on how the day is going, well, I'll still do 25 push-ups. So I just knock them out at different times. Like, yeah, just get down and knock them out. That's it. Nothing to it but to do it.
All right, so I just had that dessert, so I got to do at least 50.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Oh, gosh. Going back to high school, 3-star recruit, turning yourself into a Hall of Fame NFL player. The college process. You grew up in Tennessee, you go to Ole Miss. How did that kind of come to fruition?
Really, it was just having the will to not be denied. When I was in high school, believe it or not, I had to take the ACT 5 times. That's not because, I didn't have any brains or I was a football jock. It was just when it came to those big tests that the state gave, I always had a hard time taking them. If it was in the classroom and I could pay attention to the teacher giving the instructions and everything, like I did well. My school grades were well, but when it came to the test, it was tough. So I ended up having to take the ACT 5 times, and as I had to take the ACT 5 times, I remember going on unofficial visits to University School of Tennessee, the Vols, because during that time, that was growing up, the Tennessee Vols was America's team. And I just remember going up there on 2 unofficial visits, 5 hours away. And my dad always told me when I was growing up, he said, son, a closed mouth never get fed. And so I remember being up there and seeing all the other guys get all the love. And I was like, man, I just rushed for 3 touchdowns, just had 15 tackles on, defense the night before, but no coaches said anything to me. And I remember going up to one of the coaches and I said, Coach, I'm just curious, how come nobody is, having a conversation with me? How come no one is talking to me? I really want to go to school here. And he said, truthfully, we're recruiting 2 other linebackers, and we don't know if you're going to make your ACT scores. And in that moment, it crushed me a little bit. It was hard because I knew what I wanted for myself. I knew how hard I was willing to work, and I just wanted someone to believe in me. And obviously it wasn't them. So on the way home, 5 hours, and I was in tears. I was hurting. And I remember my guardian dad, my foster dad, he said, why don't you wipe those tears away, and why don't you go play against a school that plays against them and you show them what they missed. And in that moment, I remember saying, man, you know what, I'll do that. But the only thing was, there was no other schools really that was recruiting me that was, playing against them. So I started thinking, well, maybe I can go to MTSU. I know they play them. Maybe that's a chance for me to, play against them and show them. Maybe I go to Memphis. They play them every now and then. Maybe I can show them that way. And then I just ultimately said to myself, control what you can control. And that's going back and being the best teammate I can be, doing my schoolwork, and just being the best student I can be, an athlete. And believe it or not, out of nowhere, I think it's like my 3rd or 4th game of the season, my coach tells me right before the game, hey, there's a scout in the stands from Ole Miss, just wanted to let you know. And I remember my heart started beating, and I just remember telling myself, control what you can control. Don't get outside yourself. Don't be like the guys you see. Don't be like the movies you've seen where the guys see the people in the stands and they go crazy. And I went out and had one of my best games, and the rest was history. So that's kind of how I ended up at Ole Miss.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so do you know who the other 2 linebackers were that Tennessee was recruiting?
Yes, they were recruiting Daniel Brooks, RIP Daniel Brooks, and they was also recruiting Ernie Sims out of Florida.
And what did you do in the games against Tennessee when you played for Ole Miss?
My sophomore year, we played against them. I was a backup, so I was coming off the bench. And I think I might have had 4 tackles against them. And I would say that playing against them that sophomore year made me realize that I had to get a lot stronger and I had to get a lot better. We ended up playing them our junior season, the next year, my junior year, in which 2 games prior, I had broken my middle finger against Jay Cutler and also sprained my MCL in the same game. So 3 weeks before we played Tennessee, a couple weeks before we played Tennessee. 2 weeks. No, I'm sorry. Actually, the week we were ready to play Tennessee, I still actually have a grade 2 sprain in my MCL, so I'm wearing a big old brace on my knee, and I have this big old club on during warm-ups. And never forget, my trainer at the time, Tim Mullins, he said, "And we're gonna go out here, we're gonna try it out and see how you feel." We went out there. I got in my stance, done the drills, and I'll be honest with you all, I shouldn't have played, but I did because it was Tennessee, and I was not going to miss that last chance to play against them. But my knee was still wobbling my brace. I said, "It's fine. We good. Let's go." We went in, got dressed, came back out. Big brace. First time I had the big club, which they call it the Q-tip, but I like the club better. And ended up having, I believe it was 16 tackles and 3 for a loss. We ended up losing the game, which is never fun, but individually, though, I felt like it was a job well done. And it was confirmed because in the press conference after the game, Phil Foreman said to the press conference, he said, "I cannot believe we let this guy get out of the state of Tennessee." And that was major for me, not just for me, but for everyone who is from the state of Tennessee that had not ever gotten recruited by, Tennessee, and also those coming after. So it was a big moment.
It's a great lesson for kids.
Yeah.
It's a great lesson that you can kind of control yourself, motivate yourself, and accomplish a goal and make somebody eat crow as well.
Yeah, you can. You just gotta know. You just have to know what you want and be determined to get it done.
Where did that come from? You mentioned before, as a little kid, you may have been chubby. You got made fun of, and you said, "I can do something. I'm gonna do push-ups and sit-ups," and you saw a change. But where did that inner fire come from? Because just listening to you, I can tell that there's greatness in you. How did you bring that out of yourself?
Yeah, I'll start with this. My Uncle Arthur Joe, who was a professional boxer, wasn't the best in the professional ranks, but he was always my hero. He told me when I was about 8 years old, he said, he just called me out of nowhere. And those people that, that's older than you that they say things and you may not know what they're saying at first, parents, elders, but one day it hits you. And I never forget, I was walking past his house, he lived right beside me, and he said, "Boss, come over." And just out of nowhere, he said, no matter what you do in life, always give God all the praise, glory, and honor. And that I still do this day, and I've always tried to live by that. But it's just saying that, but it's in the Bible, faith without works is dead. And so I believed in myself. I saw what I wanted to do, but if you didn't put in the work to get there, then it was not going to happen. And so just having that inner belief, just bringing it from within and having that faith in what you're doing, great things can happen.
We hear so many stories. For me, I think it goes to Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, what they did when nobody else was watching. What would it be for you, a day where nobody else is watching, the work that you'd be putting in?
Believe it or not, it was not a day that didn't go by that my mom was on the destination. It's not until now I wish I could have enjoyed the journey a little bit more, but my mom was always on the destination. So it would be days where, my dad was very strict growing up, so we didn't always get to go all over the place. So we spent a lot of time around the house. I spent a lot of my time in the woods playing. And what I would do in the woods, I wouldn't just be there just playing, but I would put myself in situations. I would say, growing up, I was a big Dallas Cowboys fan. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I would get on one side of the woods, and I would run as fast as I could to get to the other side. And I would say, if I jump over this, if I miss this, if I don't get hit by this, if I don't get hit by this limb, then that means I didn't get tackled or I didn't get touched. That's a good job. So I had a big imagination, and so I just spent a lot of time in the woods in my imagination saying that I'm this player, I'm that player. And then the other one would be at nighttime, True story, you can ask my dad. To be at times at night, it'd be very little light. I just like sports in general. And so I thought, I just wanted to be a professional athlete. So I worked at everything. I worked at baseball, basketball, and football, the 3 sports that I had. And at nighttime, it'd be very little light coming out of my dad's window, but he would say, "But what you doing out there? You can't see." But he didn't know that little bit of light coming out that window, with me already knowing where the goal was, I was still making shots. And I just thought that if I could do it there, then I would be able to do it in a game. And so just little moments like that when no one is watching or around, you putting in that work, is where you build that true confidence at.
There's so many questions from that answer that I want to get to. One, that work that you put in, when did it first creep into your mind that I could be a professional athlete, whether it be in football and basketball or baseball?
Yeah, it was probably watching my uncle be a professional boxer. I saw him train, watching him train every night at 9 o'clock. I would literally be up there watching him until my dad said, "All right, boy." My dad would say, "All right, Pat, time to come home." And I would go to the house, but I spent a great deal watching him because, again, he was my first superhero. And then secondly, it was I was in the 6th grade watching an autobiography, and the autobiography was of Walter Payton. And I remember watching that autobiography, and I won't lie, I didn't know exactly what I watched, but I just remember a word that I kept hearing a lot of the players speak about Walter Payton or just speak about, and it was talking about work ethic. And I remember after I watched that autobiography, I said to myself, if work ethic is what it takes to get there, my dad instilled this in me when I was a young boy. I got that. I can do it. I just have to work harder than the next person beside me. And before you know it, it became part of who I was, and to the point to where I was almost, this is a hard word, but I was willing to die for it, meaning that it was either gonna be me or you, but I had to. I had no choice, to me, I had no choice,
So I'll jump ahead real quick and then I'll go back. You sign a good contract with the Niners. Every person who looks at professional athletes, they just see, money. They don't see what goes into it. It was life-changing for you. What was that feeling like when you signed that deal?
At the time, I can honestly say that I didn't truly understand the magnitude of what that kind of money was and is. For me, I was just excited to continue to play a game that I love playing. And I'm a firm believer that maybe not always, but when you're doing what you love, great things happen in the midst of it. And I felt like the money was a byproduct to me, just really, really loving the game and it giving something back to me. And that was just one thing. So.
Yeah. Going back to you being in the woods, being a Dallas Cowboys fan, who were you when you were running?
Growing up, I only had 3 channels, and as I said, the Cowboys were big in the early 90s. It was America's team, and so, probably as most kids, they show a lot of the offensive guys, and so I was a big Emmitt Smith fan, a big Michael Irvin fan, the trio. Yep. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. Adding another one, Jay Novacek,
yep,
the tight
end. Yep.
And Darryl Johnson, the fullback. I was actually a fullback too. So yeah, those 4.
Okay, so now you get drafted by the Niners. You grow up a Cowboys fan during the heyday of that rivalry. Are you like, oh crap, I can't believe the Niners took me?
Yeah. It was a moment. It was a moment when I walked. It was a moment my first practice at the Niners when I walked out of the practice facility, or the practice doors, to go onto the practice field, that I just took a deep breath of, wow, God, you really do work in mysterious ways. Because as a kid, I would always like, I'd never play for this team. I was one of those kids where I was a diehard. Like, I thought everybody had to be a Cowboy. Like, you could not be any other team. And I didn't know how my brother and my cousin were 49er fans. I was like, where do y'all even see them at? Like, how could you beat anybody else other than them? But yeah, man, I was just a diehard Cowboys fan.
I'll tell a funny story. The reason why I asked that question was there's a baseball player, Darren Erstad. I don't know if you guys know who Darren Erstad is, but he grew up in South Dakota, diehard Minnesota Twins fan, right? He gets to the major leagues. Kirby Puckett walks into the clubhouse. He goes, South Dakota, where are you at? And he goes, hey, Kirby Puckett, welcome to the show. And he was like, oh my God. He's batting leadoff that day. He's in his Angels uniform, playing in the Metrodome in Minneapolis, and they're playing the Minnesota Twins like fight song, and he's singing the fight song as he's in the Angels uniform, and he looks down and he goes, oh, I better stop doing this. So that's why I was wondering what it would be like for you with the Niners. But now you're a lifelong Niner. You play your entire career there. I mentioned everything you did. Let's talk about the rookie year. You led the freaking league in tackles as a rookie. Everyone says the SEC is so good. The SEC is so good. How did you lead the league in tackles as a rookie?
Speaking of the SEC, I believe the SEC helped prepare me for the NFL, because I was a firm believer that the SEC was the best. It's a little different now with some other teams that came in, but still SEC is still a powerhouse. But I had thought in order to be an amazing football player, or to be considered one of the best football players, I feel like you had to play in the SEC. And so playing in the SEC, man, every game I feel like was an intense game, and you had to come with it. Guys were big, strong, and fast, and that's what it is in the NFL. Guys are big, strong, and fast, and you have to come with it.
Ray Lewis, who many would say is the best middle linebacker of all time, or right up there, he mentioned you as far as players that he liked watching. We had one here you mentioned before, Luke Kuechly, also really good. I know with Luke, he was an avid film watcher. I imagine you were an avid film watcher too. What were you trying to pick up when watching film?
Me, when I watch film, you look for details, the attention to details. You look for a little bit of everything, but I remember it started getting to the point to where it wasn't so much about the players anymore. It's like after a while, you know your competition, you know what a running back can do, you know how much they can do out of certain sets. But it started getting to the point to where I wanted to know the offensive coordinator's mindset, because I feel like if I could understand the offensive coordinator's mindset, then it would allow me to also tap into, I call like the defensive coordinator's mindset as well. So it's almost like I began to start seeing the game from a greater picture, where again, it wasn't so much about the one-on-one as much as it was about like, all right, who's the offensive coordinator? What blocking scheme does he like? Because there's only so many plays you can do out of certain blocking schemes, or certain blocking schemes. If you're a hard down blocking scheme, you love powers. If you're a zone blocking scheme, you love outside zones and different things like that. And so then you just got to pay attention. Like, is he a Frank Gore running back, or is he a Chris Johnson, running back? Frank Gore loves to be patient, jump cut, come out the back door. Chris Johnson, like, man, he just floats like the wind and around the edge and gone. So yeah, you just your competition and yeah.
Okay, so Hall of Famers play chess. The rest of us play checkers, is what you're saying. Got it. Okay. All right, so you went up against some Hall of Fame coordinators. You went up against some Hall of Fame coaches, some Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I always love the intricacies of games. And as a Mike linebacker, the quarterback is always trying to pick you out. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to play a game with him. He's trying to play a game with you. Who is that quarterback that you just loved that challenge of going up against?
Man, the quarterback that I really liked playing against.
Just say it.
I really did like playing against Eli. Because just one, from my college days, just real quick story, my first college practice, I literally thought they was going to take my scholarship away from me and everything, because in my mind, I'm just trying to show everybody that I belong here. And I'll never forget, I come off the edge and I'm just trying to work the good mechanics, and Eli is throwing the ball. And I just kind of come beside him a little bit and kind of, motion at the ball. And man, this is the first time I was seeing Coach Cut. Coach Cut is a pretty chill guy. I saw him just start snapping. Rooker, what are you doing? You stay away from that quarterback. You don't get close to him. And so it was in that moment then that I was like, well, man, is he not do I not count neither? Am I not supposed to work my good habits? But I understand why you stay away from the quarterbacks. But I really enjoyed playing against Eli. But I would say that, man, some of the toughest games was against Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Those guys could they could put they could put the ball anywhere it needed to be thrown. And especially in my latter years, being a covered linebacker a lot, Drew Brees and, the tight end's going blank on me a little bit, Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham.
Man, those two, that was pretty tough, but great competition.
The player in the backfield, the running back, who you thought, oh, this could be a long day.
It was obviously anytime I had a chance to play against Adrian Peterson, he was one of those guys that you better get him before he gets going, because it could be a long day for all of us. Steven Jackson, when I first got into the NFL, because he was in our division, big guy, bigger than I am, I feel like, had a stiff arm that was like no other. And then Marshawn Lynch, he just, as you know, he has a nickname, Beast Mode, and he carried the ball beast mode every time he carried the ball. So you really had to come with it.
See, if I were playing against Marshawn Lynch in a cold weather and you had that hand pocket, right? I would just keep some Skittles in there.
I don't know if that would have worked.
Most memorable hit, the one that you were like, yes, I finally got it.
It's probably going to be one that, this is one that most people will not know, because it wasn't as exciting, or it wasn't as exciting. But I remember it was my first game. We were playing against Arizona Cardinals. I have a cover 2 drop in the red zone, which means cover 2 for the middle linebacker. It means I have deep middle, but when you're in the red zone, it kind of it's real tight and compacted. And so during the week, I had a problem where I would just, it was one of the mechanics I was had to get right. I kept opening up too much and getting too deep in the red zone. And this particular play, we was in the red zone going in, and they done a tight end stick nod, I believe it was. And man, I done it perfect. But as I did it perfect, I knocked myself out of wind when I broke up the ball, knocked myself out of breath. And as I knocked myself out of breath, it was a third down play or whatnot, so they had to kick the field goal. But as I knock the ball out, all my teammates would pat me on the head and they would tell me, good job, and they were yelling at me and everything. And the whole time I'm just trying to get to the sideline so I can get some air. Like, cause as they tell me, good job, I was like, yeah, good job, I appreciate it. And I got to the side and I was like, I can't breathe. But yeah, I would probably say that moment was a big moment, and a couple other plays that game, tackling Adrian James, Hall of Famer Adrian James. Yep. My coach all week had been telling us that Adrian James was just a guy. He didn't have it anymore. You know, he's not the same guy as he once was. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm a rookie, so I'm thinking like I don't know what that really means, but you know, we'll find out on game day. And needs to say that I remember coming off a tackle and I hit him across the thigh board, and believe it or not, like I blacked out for a split second. But I hit him hard enough to when I blacked out, he still like tripped up. But I just remember saying to myself, wait a minute, if this is what coach calls still, he don't got it, like he don't have it like he used to. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine what it was like when he came in. So, but yeah, man, the NFL is it's tough. It's intense, and like I said, you got to come with it every play.
You played 8 years in the NFL. As I mentioned before, Pro Bowl your first 7 years. The only reason you weren't a Pro Bowl your last year was because you were injured for part of the year. But all of a sudden, you retire, and you're young. Mm. Like, what is that like? All of a sudden, football has been your focus, basically your whole adult life. And now people are saying, dude, you're like 30, 31. What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
What's that like? What's going through your head?
Man, well, it's been a transition. This is me going on my 9th year now, being retired. And it's crazy to think that I've been retired now longer than I've played the game that I was inspired and to play since I was a little kid. But yeah, man, it's been a journey. I had always knew that the game would, end someday or come to an end. Didn't know how it would come, but I just wanted to be able to look back when that time did come and say, better say job well done. Early on in life, I saw some things happen, some deaths happen, around me that really put into perspective for me that life is not, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Mm-hmm. And I'd always heard the NFL stood for not for long. And so I told myself, whether it was year 1 or whether it's year, 13, or however it happens, when that day come, I didn't want to have any regrets. And so each day I put in that work, I put in that grind so that I wouldn't have that feeling when that time came. And though, there's some things, like I said, defensive player of the year would have sounded nice. Super Bowl champion, would have sounded nice, but I'm grateful for the journey that I was able to have. So
those sound nice, but I'm pretty confident Hall of Famer sounds even better. So
I appreciate it.
You get that call, right? You're waiting. Are you thinking this could be the year? Are you thinking I've done enough of my career to get there? What's going through your mind before that call comes in?
Yeah, I had felt since the day that I walked away that I had done enough. But that's on the grounds of, if in school, we all know in school, if you're taking a test and you only have 5 questions or 4 questions, you have very little room to get anything wrong. But if you have 100 questions, then you got more room for error. You got more room to get things wrong. Well, for me and how I played the game and how I always thought about the game, it was as if I was taking a 4 or 5 question answer, meaning that like I don't have much room to not be the very best that I can be. And so I just took that mindset of every day have the opportunity to go and make it count, I have to do that, because what if tomorrow is not promised? And I wanted people to be able to judge me on what I did do, and not so much the potential on what I could do.
So you get the call, you're a Hall of Famer, the emotions, who's with you, who do you have to call to let them know, like, holy crap, I'm a Gold Jacket?
Yeah, so I was actually in Jackson, Tennessee at my sister's, Anika's home, putting up a basketball hoop for my nieces when I was told to go to the door, and because the package had arrived for me. And just a few days before that, my assistant said, "Hey, you have to be in Tennessee because there is a package arriving for you that only you could sign for." And because it was my birthday just the day before, I thought that, maybe that with my sister may got me something. And so, yeah, I'm there putting up the basketball hoop, and then they come get me from out back or whatnot, where I'm putting up the basketball hoop, and there it was. Wow. I opened the door, and Brian Young was standing there, and heart just started beating. I said, man, this is it. This is it.
You aced your test.
Yes, sir. Job well done.
That is awesome. I know we got to wrap things up, so I apologize for not being able to get some questions from the audience. I'm going to end with a couple of quick rapid-fire questions. You're still young. I imagine you still watch the NFL. Defensively, who's the guy you like to watch?
I'm going Fred Warner all day. Fred Warner, Dre, Greenlaw when he's out there on the field, but for sure Fred.
The one quarterback that you wish you got to play against in your life?
The one quarterback that I wish I got to play against in my life. I did get to play against this one, but I didn't get to sack him, would be Tom Brady.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Hall of Famer Patrick Willis. Patrick, thank you so much.
Hey, real quick, may I just real fast, I won't leave you all with this. And I know there was some youth that was in here. I just wanted to let you all know, but really anyone, if there's something that you want to do, man, let no one stop you from it. There are always going to be opinions of others, of what you can and what you cannot do. Don't pay attention to that. Put your best foot forward, and don't stop until you get it done. So again, I'm rooting for you. What I was trying to say was, never allow the opinions of others to become your reality. So that's it.
So don't listen to social media. Patrick, that's a great message. You're a heck of a person. You're a Hall of Fame person, not just a Hall of Fame NFL player. And congratulations on your success. Congratulations on acing that test. Thank you so much for being here today to enlighten all of us and share some of those great stories. Really, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for having me.
Patrick Willis. Don't forget, folks, the Bronco Nagurski Awards come up December 9th. We also have the silent auction, which ends in 10 minutes. Again, Hall of Famer Patrick Willis, awesome job. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Justin Kutcher. Have a great day. Get home safe.